Do you want to know if you may be an Enneagram 1? Have you ever taken the Enneagram test but are still unsure? Or maybe do you know an Enneagram 1, a family member, friend, or client that you just want to understand them better? Well, stay tuned because I'm going to reveal what it's like to be a type 1. And make sure you watch till the end because I'm going to be sharing one characteristic that just may surprise you about ones. Hi, I'm Tyler Zock, pastor, Enneagram coach, author of the 40-Day Gospel for Enneagram Devotional series, and your personal guide to helping you transform your life, relationships, and workplace by giving you spot-on truths for your type. Keep watching if you want to feel seen, understood, and challenged to let go of the things that are keeping you stuck in your personal and professional life. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss more free content coming up next week. All right, let's get to it. Type 1s are known as the reformers, perfectionists, improvers. I like improver the most. Type 1s have a fear of being wrong, a fear of being bad, evil, inappropriate, or corruptible. They have a desire to have integrity, to be right, to be virtuous. Growing up, they may have been the good boy or good girl to their teachers and parents. They tend to focus or fixate on what needs correction or fixing around them, including those periods or parentheses in the wrong spots. They can idolize perfection or maybe idolize being right and being right all the time. They tend to avoid making mistakes. They avoid mistakes like the plague, and they avoid being criticized. All right. Their vice is anger in the form of resentment. This is anger that has been repressed. Ones just want the world to be as it should be. And when it's not, they can get pretty upset or angry about that. Their virtue is serenity, to finally get to a place where they can feel at peace with the world being as it should be. Ones have high standards for themselves and others. That's one of the things I love about ones, is they really push us to reach our full potential. But ones can be overly critical and judgmental when you make a mistake. But watch this. Ones are harder on themselves than anyone else could be. So even though they can be critical when they're unhealthy, they tend to criticize themselves and beat themselves up before anyone else. Ones tend to sort things into good and bad categories or right and wrong categories. They can resort to black and white types of thinking. Duty usually comes before pleasure. For one, it's hard for them to relax because they always feel like they need to take care of their responsibilities and their duties first. Ones don't like it when people ignore or break the rules, so don't be parking in a handicapped spot, okay, because ones are not going to like that. And like I said, ones have troubles relaxing, taking a break, because there's always something to fix, always something to improve. Ones have lofty ideals. This is one of the great things I love about ones, is that they're not just doers, they're not just taskers, but they really do have a beautiful vision for the world. They have high ideals for the world, and they want to make the world a better place. And so oftentimes they can be very inspiring in terms of reforming the city, reforming their church, right? Bringing reformation to the world. For ones, details are very important to them, and it's a pet peeve when people don't care about the details. They often have a high level of excellence. They want everything to be done with excellence. Sometimes they feel like they're the only adult in the room. Okay, so other people may act immaturely, say inappropriate things, say inappropriate jokes, or maybe they're dropping the ball and they're not carrying through on the responsibilities. And so sometimes it's frustrating for ones because they feel like, man, am I the only adult in the room here? Another thing that I love about ones is that if they say they'll do it, they'll do it. You don't have to double check on them because they are uber responsible. And they do things right the first time. That's one of the common themes you'll hear from ones is, I want to do it right the first time. I don't want to cut corners like sometimes type 3s do, right? They want to do it thoroughly and do it right the first time. It's hard for ones to let go of resentment sometimes. You know, if you drop the ball or if you hurt them or wrong them, it can be really hard for them to let that go and to forgive you. Ones think it's their responsibility to leave things better than they found them. Right? That stewardship is a big thing for ones. They want to take care of their environment, the responsibilities, their room, and so oftentimes they'll leave things better than they found it. Ones have a lot of self-discipline. This is really inspiring for the other types to watch one's work because they oftentimes are very diligent, have great self-discipline, and will work hard and push through to the end. Ones have often thought to themselves, if I want something done right, I have to do it myself. So sometimes ones can struggle with delegating because other people might do it wrong, or other people might do it not as good as them. And so ones need to learn how to delegate responsibility. Another thing about ones is they notice immediately when things are out of place, like the comma, the period in the wrong place, the light bulb that's out in the office. Ones avoid criticism by getting it right or doing it perfect. Sometimes they feel like they have to be perfect in order to be good. And sometimes their perfectionism can act like a 20-ton shield to protect themselves from the criticism of others because they get weary of criticizing themselves. And errors and mistakes jump out at them until they're fixed. I love how Ian Cron said that mistakes or errors assault the one. Right? They jump out, and ones feel like they have to fix it. If the room's not painted right, they'll want to make sure that the room is painted correctly before moving on and just letting it go. So ones, again, you want your doctor to be a 1 or your lawyer to be a 1 because you don't want there to be any mistakes or errors being made. Ones think to themselves, I do my best when working on a project and wish others would do the same. We talked about this a little bit earlier, that they want to have a level of excellence. And so when they're working on a project, they want to do their absolute best and really wish and hope that other people would put in their best as well. Ones are tempted to redo the work of others. This is a common theme in average to unhealthy ones. When they get work, they're like, well, I could just do this better myself. So rather than delegating them to go back and to improve and to work on it themselves, ones are like, I'll just fix it. I'll just fix it and I won't have them do it because again, the ones feel like they can do it better. Ones sometimes feel like they're the only one who cares. This is a common theme. The world is not as it should be. There's a lot of things to improve. There's so much to be done in the workplace, and sometimes they feel like they're the only one who cares that things are not as they should be. And so that can feel very weary to a one if they feel like they're the only one in the office who cares about the things that they care about. Ones always finish their to-do list. Well, sort of. They finish their to-do list for the day, and they're responsible to do that. But their to-do list is actually pretty ongoing. Their to-do list never ends. But at the end of the day, they do a lot more than the rest of us. Ones believe there is a right way to do everything. And so sometimes it comes out and it can be a little, what's the word? It can be a little condescending when they're like, I know the right way to do this, or let me show you the right way to do this. And so they can have sort of an instructional or teacher mentality to them. Ones love being in nature, where they can just be. Think about it. In nature, there's nothing to perfect. It's just God's creation. And they don't have any responsibilities when they're on a climbing a mountain or taking a hike or boating, right? So ones love to be out in nature because they can finally be in a place where they're not responsible for anything. Now, one characteristic that may surprise you that I told you I'd mention is that ones transform almost into a different kind of person on vacation or when they're resting on the weekends because it's planned fun. When it's planned fun, they can plan to be spontaneous. So I have a couple of friends. One is, his nickname is Summer Kyle. He's an educator. And so when the summertime gets here, a new side of Kyle comes out that wasn't there before, so they call him Summer Kyle. Another friend of mine works at a church, and so after hours, after 5 p.m., he has a nickname from the other coworkers at the church and the students there, and they call him Nick at Night because a different side of him comes out when he has no responsibilities in the workplace. So if ones can reach to that high side of 7, which is where they go when they become healthy and become more spontaneous and relaxed, they can be a lot of fun and very funny. Now, the advice I'd give to ones today, if I could give one piece of advice, it's you don't have to be perfect to be perfectly loved. Like, you can know right now that you don't have to improve yourself in order to be loved by your friends, family, and God. So you don't have to be perfect to be perfectly loved. You can just rest knowing that God is perfecting you, that He is transforming you, and is transforming the world. And therefore you can finally have that serenity that you've been longing for. All right, let me ask you, did this video help to know if you are a type 1? If so, why? Leave a comment below. I'd love to chat about it with you. If you want to learn more, I've written a book for type 1s called The Gospel for Improvers, a 40-day devotional for honest, responsible perfectionists. So make sure to see the link in the description below if you want to continue on in your journey. And if you love the content, make sure to hit the like button. That tells YouTube to share it with more people. And once again, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I want to help you reach your God-given potential and avoid burnout, breakups, and blowups that are all too common for your type. And so whether you're a seasoned Enneagram coach or brand new to the Enneagram, I'm sure you're going to experience many aha moments right here on this channel. Now don't leave because I have more valuable content coming right up.